All right, guys, Coach Pollock right here, starting this new video series. Just trying to help some my fellow high school coaches, middle school coaches, youth league coaches, talk about some schemes that I'm familiar with and I used at the high school level that I think could be very valuable information for you guys to have. And you know, if you want to talk about this in more detail, you can click in the comments, ask me questions. We can go back and forth, talk. You know, maybe we can get on a Zoom call or something and you know, maybe talk some more in detail. But, you know, some of this is more old school stuff that, you know, that we're going to start off with. And we're going to get into more of the modern things that you're seeing in the game now. But I really think there's still a place for some things I'm going to talk about here early on, especially. Okay, first thing I want to talk about is an I formation series that we used to run back when I was at Washington County High School, and had a lot of success with it with Coach Rick Tomerlin. And we were started off in the I formation, and we ran it. We called it our pitch series, and we just felt like that, you know, it was a really good way that if you had a really dominant running back at the tailback position, but you also had a fullback that could run and a quarterback. You had a triple threat back there. We got it from Nebraska with Tom Osborne. So I'm going to go over a few of those plays today and talk to you guys here. So first of all, we're going to talk about our tall sweep play, okay? And, you know, I'm going to draw this up, you know, just out of a regular pro formation that you really don't see a lot of nowadays, okay? You know, we got our fullback, his toes are right here about 4 yards. Tailback's toes are about 7 yards. You know, of course, you know, back in Coach Osborne's days, we called this the I back because he was dotting the I in the I formation, okay? And I'm going to draw up some different scenarios here defensively for how we ran this play, okay? So if we just go with a regular over front here, okay, with a 4-2 structure, all right? And you know, you could have your sound, your nickel sound out here, your strong safety weak, free safety high with a 1 high structure, something that you'll see at a lot of high schools, you know, but just a 4-4 defense. Okay, so basically what we start off with is, first of all, we start off with our tight end here, and our tight end on this situation, he's going to block C gap on outside seam near backer. Okay, C gap first, on outside near backer. Okay, so right here he's got a guy on him, so he's going to reach block him right here. All right, and then the tackle, the play side tackle is on inside seam near backer. Okay, he didn't have any guy on him, he's got a guy on his inside seam, and we're going to just pin block him, and we're going to make that a high pin. We're going to get on that hip of that 3 technique. Now guys, listen, there's a lot of things I may say that you don't disagree with. That's good. Football coaches don't always agree on the same thing. So if I say something you don't agree with, we can talk about it and everything. Heck, you can teach me something. But anyway, we're going to pin high on that 3 technique. All right, right here. This guard, he's going to pull and he's going to block the force. So he's going to get the first thing he sees outside the tight end. All right, in the center, he's going to scoop play side seam. And then on the back side here, okay, we have a couple things we can do. We're going to scoop the play side seam with the backside guard. Okay, the tackle, we can release him inside seam there as well, or we can pull him around. All right, since he doesn't have anybody in B gap, I'll prefer pulling him around. Okay, now right here, this fullback, his path is right here, starting off to the guard tackle seam to the B gap. Okay, we want him to attack the B gap. Anything shows in that B gap, he's going to take it. That's a 3 technique, a linebacker, or whatever shows in that B gap, he's going to take it. If nothing shows in that B gap, he's going to tight bounce this linebacker to safety. So he's looking here to here, okay? All right, and he can bounce it right here in C gap, or he can go outside this reach block. It just all depends, okay? All right, now right here, the tailback is going to slow step, and he's going to attack right here off that tight end's butt. He's going to tag right there. Okay, we want the quarterback to reverse out and get the ball to him deep. So that tailback is going downhill. And then of course the quarterback, once he does that, he can reverse pivot, and he can just kind of, you know, rub up on that backside end chasing. We don't want him to get in the way and really run the risk of getting injured. We just want him to kind of, you know, make the end think about it for a second, okay? If you prefer to reverse here and bootleg him out, that's fine too, okay? Either way, I don't care. And it just all depends on what you want to do. All right, so right here, now this tailback, he is reading this block right here, okay? So this play, he's going to attack this outside hip of this tight end, okay? And he could end up, he's going to press it, and he's going to speed through the hole off of that, okay? A lot of times, if you get a good reach block here, the guard come out here, the force comes up, he kicks him, you'll see it right there. Okay, if this guy really fights outside, the tight end has to push him, he'll come downhill, he'll stick it up there in that C gap, okay? And of course, backside, we're just cutting off. Right here, we're dual reading. Since it's a one high safety structure, okay? Since it's a one high safety structure, we're just going to come off on the corner right there, okay? If they happen to have a two high structure where they went like this, we would dual read whoever the force player was, okay? So if they got that free safety coming down like that, then we could do that. All right, we could come off on him. If he plays back, okay, we could just stay on the corner. Okay, and of course backside just cutting off. All right, so that's one example there against a 4-4 defense that we run this play. Okay, this is a very effective play. Gets a great player the ball deep where he can read the blocks and he can have his shoulder pad square, get downhill, and really make something happen with the football. A lot of good yards gained off this play. Okay, now if we see more of a, you know, a tight under front, something like this that we see, you know, a lot of times in high school, okay, and just to be different, I'll go with a two tight end look, because this was a very popular formation for us back when I was at Washington County. Very, very popular formation Nebraska ran when they had Tom Osborne, okay? And say we get an under front here, where now we got the Sam coming down here, okay? And then maybe they either give you a two high structure right here, and they let the safeties read it, or they could roll this safety down and come back. It doesn't really matter, okay? Now right here, remember what I said, this guy's got C gap on outside seam near backer. There's nobody in the C gap. This guy is on the tackle. We don't really consider him a C gap. A C gap guy means his nose is right in between the tackle and tight end, in that gap. Okay, that would be that situation. So if they had a situation like this, where they line him up here and him here, we would take him, okay? He would be considered the C gap player. Now, since they got this situation, all right, what we're gonna do is we're gonna block on here, okay? Same way here, we're gonna block on. So we got two tough blocks right here. We got a reach block, okay? And then we gotta cut this guy off. This guy's gonna get the force. Now, if this safety's back here, you can see where this is a really good play for people that play a two high safety scheme. It's a really good play to this side because the force is coming from depth, okay? And then of course, backside here, all right, since he's got a guy inside of him, he can cut him off, and he can pull around here. So whichever guard or tackle doesn't have someone in his inside gap, we can pull him. Or if we just want to zone it off on the backside and scoop it, we can. Same thing here, we're going to scoop, get downfield, make something happen downfield for when we break it deep. Right here, he's attacking that B gap. That fullback's attacking that B gap, and he's going to tight bounce linebacker to safety, okay? And there again, same thing, get the ball deep to him, reverse pivot, try to make this rush go around him, slow him down a little bit. Now right here, we can easily dual read this, okay? So what can end up happening here, and I've seen this happen, if this strong safety comes up and we come off of him, and now the corner tries to replace him, the guard can end up getting that guy. Or, you know, if we just feel like this is a hard corner here, we're going to stay on him, and that strong safety is coming down to be the force, we could end up getting him here, okay? So there's a couple things here. Now, the deal is, and really what we like to see, is teams that give us this kind of structure here, all right, because now, all right, you've got a force player here, so you can run it this way, okay, but also you can run it back this way because this corner, he's having to be the force and he's having to play the deep third, okay, so he's in a pickle there. And typically corners are not as good as force players. So if teams will get in a one high structure like this, we would typically go after that corner. We would run this play this way and let him come up and be the force and make him be a football player instead of a cover guy. And I think in today's football, with all the 7-on-7 and all the emphasis on the passing game, a play like this where you don't really need a bruising fullback. I mean, guys, you could be this could be an extra tight end. Okay, this doesn't have to be an old school fullback for this play. It can be an extra tight end you got on the roster that's able to block people in, you know. It's not really an ISO block or anything like that. He can block in space. He can move pretty good and help you out there. Okay, all right. So this is another way. Now, one thing that I have done before with this play, and this is not something that I saw done at Nebraska or anything. They might have, and I just didn't see it. Say you're playing a team that has a really, really good defensive end that they are hat reading that, they're in that 9 technique, they're hat reading that tight end, and they're really gonna fight that reach block and really give you trouble. But you're trying to get the ball on the edge. I have done this before, you know. And let's just do this. Let's just say they gave us this, all right? All right. And then say they went to that one high scheme we talked about a while ago, okay? So now we're sitting here like this. Well, okay, we could run it back this way. And there's some advantages to this because we can down block this 3 technique. We can probably reach this 6 technique pretty good and get out in a strong safety. But say we want to come out here because we want to test old boy right here. Okay, we want to test that corner. All right, but say they got a guy that is a really great player that we can't reach, or a lot of times in high school, this is really another tackle and another end if they're playing a 2 tight end scheme. So you end up seeing a guy that's all he plays is that 9 technique all day long, and he's really good at reading that reach block. Maybe you got a tight end that's going to struggle reaching him. So what I have done is I have blocked him to make him squeeze and then lock him with the tackle. I've done that before and had some success with it. But you got to make sure you do it against people that are really disciplined in how they play their techniques. Because if this kid is just a guy that just runs upfield, this ain't gonna work. Okay, this ain't what you're gonna do. All right, and now, so we can do that, but typically, what we would do is we would reach here, and now we got a guard on the corner, and I like that, and then we right here on the linebacker, cutting off. He can come around, cut off. He can get downfield, and we feel like we got to play. We got a hat on a hat, and we got a hat on a hat, ball in the best player on our team's hand probably, because if we're running this kind of formation, we probably got a pretty good one right here, okay? And then we got a free safety having to come from a deep third to cover this. So a couple things here that I like about this play. Number one, you don't need a really good fullback that's a real bruiser. You just need someone that can get in somebody's way and can read the blocks up here and know if he's got to fit in here or fit out here, because he can fit out here too. Okay, but he's got to check anything that shows here. He's got to take. Okay, because I'll tell you what, a lot of people want to ask me, say, well, Coach, what about when we got a 3, 5, and 9? Well, if we got a 3, 5, 9, all right, and I'll just draw it up. Say I do it like this. Say, it's a good play away from twins too. I love it away from twins. But say somebody gives us this kind of a look here. I know a lot of people don't see that as much, but you could see something like this. Like right here, we reach, okay? We're gonna pull and force that corner. We're gonna try to cut off here, but like that 3 technique comes clean, that fullback's got to take him. He's got to take him. And I know that leaves the Mike backer unblocked in that situation. But you know what? This guy here is a pretty good player. Sometimes you got to make someone miss. I'll admit, this is not ideal. This is not an ideal look. Trust me. I believe, I know that. But I'm just showing you an example. Is if you get a 3, 5, and 9 and you run the play, the fullback has to take it. Okay? All right? Now, are there other plays that are better out of this format? Yeah, certainly. Certainly, you know. But, you know, like I say, it's just one of them situations that this is kind of a little tough deal here. You know, we cut off here and we just come around here and probably pick up the wheel back with that backside tackle. Okay? Like I say, it's not ideal. It's not something that I would hang my hat on or want to make a living on. But the fullback has got to take care of this guy before he can worry about that guy. Okay? So this at least gets the play started. And then, you know, maybe we get a good reach block here, get out here, maybe we outrun this guy because this guy should be faster than him. Okay, we should have an advantage there. And there's some more plays off of this same action that's going to slow this guy down a little bit. Okay, so let's look at these at this real quick. Okay. All right. In the next segment, we're going to talk about a couple more plays off this same action here that will allow you to slow that Mike backer down and give you an opportunity for your fullback and your quarterback to carry the football as well as your tailback. Okay, so right now all we've done is we've just come out with the old, what I call this a downhill Tom Osborne, Nebraska Cornhusker, 1980s, 1990s toss sweep. It's what they made a living off of, what they hung their hat on for a long time. And we're going to get into some more things that they did in the future before we move on to some other things that I want to talk about with you guys. I hope you've enjoyed this little lesson here. If you got any questions about this play, any comments, hey, feel free to put them in the comments, man. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button because I got a lot more coming. And we're going to get into a lot of different offenses, a lot of different things we're going to talk about throughout this series in the future. So looking forward to getting to know you guys, looking forward to everyone getting on with me. And let's just talk some football, man. Hey, let's keep it clean. Let's keep it positive. You know, I know sometimes coaches can get, you know, kind of negative about, well, I would do this and I would do that. There's 100 ways to do things, guys. Let's try to learn from each other, try to help each other become better coaches. And let's try to do what's right by these kids by putting them in the best situation for them to be successful. Until then, go Buffs.